So, Ultima 5. I have hopefully got it running properly with music and things. I've applied the patches from Pix's doodah that adds the music and fixes the save game transferring. So I will transfer my Ultima 4 character. So let's go. I'm going to mute my mic for the opening. So now the music's finished. Old Shamano looking like a pirate. So all this will be explained in the opening scene, something that is new. Because this is the first opening animation that actually bears anything to the plot of the game. The waterfalls in the PC version are slightly less annoying than the Commodore version. Only slightly. No wonder, like 200 years pass between various games each time. Look how fast that sodding clock's going. Right. So that is the end of the little intro blurb. So 5 is the first Ultima I played, and it's a favourite with a lot of people. So introduction. The summoning. From nowhere, smoky wisps of clouds begin to form in a clear, moonlit sky. In a few short moments, the sky is filled with dark, ominous clouds that completely block the moon's pale light. Your bedroom is bathed in quiet darkness as you lie, sleeping lightly. Something rouses you, and your eyes open sleepily to be met by a soft blue glow reflecting from the wall. Slowly, you turn your head until you can see the source of the light. Take a quick breath as you see that the light is emanating from a shimmering circle suspended over your bed. As you look at the light, a darkness begins to appear in its centre. The darkness gradually materialises into a form you suddenly recognise as the symbol of the Codex of Ultimate Wisdom. The last time you saw such as this was beyond the circle of stones in the nearby woods. That prior occasion marked the quest that forever changed the course of your life. Ultima IV. You stare as the light begins to diminish and finally wink out. Something falls softly into the bed. Reaching out, you turn on the light at your bedside. There, lying before you, is an amulet. You hesitantly reach for it. Gripping it tight in your hand, your finger automatically traces over the familiar etching on its surface. Finally, a sign from Britannia. It has to be. It could be nothing else. Jumping from the bed, you hastily pull on some clothes. With a few long strides, you cross the room to stand before the glass case sitting on a shelf. Visible beneath the glass, resting upon a velvet cloth, is the Ankh, symbol of your avatar hood. Reverently, you open the glass case and remove it. If what you think is happening is truly happening, then you may have needed this. You open the door of your bedroom and step out. Hesitating, one look back wondering if you'll ever return. Shaking your head of these thoughts, you pull the door closed and leave the house. With the arcade of the occasional moonbeam piercing the dark cloud cover, you head for the circle of stones near the willow tree in the nearby woods. Strange shadows cast by the moonlight filter down through the treetops as thoughts of the past race through your mind. Your attention is returned to the present as you see just ahead the circle of stones. Often had you come here and sat for hours at a time, hoping to once again see the shimmering blue door that would allow you to return to Britannia, to those whose friendship had come to mean so much. But never had the blue door reappeared. Less frequently you came, until finally, sadly, you gave up altogether. With renewed hope, you stand before the circle of stones, the Ankh in one hand, the amulet in the other. Minutes slip by and nothing happens. Impatience turns to anxiety. The gate must open. The mystical arrival of the amulet could mean nothing else. Long do you stand there until your amulet slips from your grip and falls within the circle of stones. While you stare dejectedly at the amulet lying within the circle, you notice a bluish shimmering in the air above the amulet. Looking down at the Ankh in your hand, you see it's also enveloped in a soft blue glow. Carefully, you place the glowing Ankh beside the amulet. Instantly, a shimmering blue door springs up. With heart beating rapidly, you step into it. Your senses are jerked from their momentary disorientation by a blinding streak of lightning that strikes with a thunderous crash not more than 100 feet from you. Looking pretty rad there, by the way. You're standing in a clearing surrounded by a dark and foreboding forest. Overhead, rolling black clouds fill the sky while thunder and lightning continue to crash around you. Britannia! It must be Britannia! But something is wrong. Instead of the sense of elation expected upon returning, here after all these years, you are overcome with a foreboding sense of wrongness. My friend, shouts someone from behind you. A familiar voice from the past causes you to whirl about. Racing towards you is Shamino, someone who thought you might never see again. Strongly grasping your hand, he exclaims, "We were afraid the summoning would fail. 'Tis now impossible to use any magic without invoking intervention from Blackthorn. Let us not tarry, for the summoning is surely not gone unnoticed." Trusting your friend's judgment, you hold your many questions until a safer time. Hastily, you retrieve your amulet and lie at your feet, but before you can move, the very darkness about you begins to swirl and change. 3 shapes begin to materialize in the murky gloom. "Shadow Lords," hisses Shamino through clenched teeth. Quickly he draws his sword and moves between you and the barely discernible shapes. The foremost apparition traces a pattern in the air with a wispy forefinger. An ebony black arrow solidifies before it and hangs suspended for a moment. Then with a flick of his hand, the Shadow Lord casts the glowing bolt at Shamino. The arrow strikes him full in the chest. Dropping his sword, he sinks to the ground, lines of pain and something worse etched into his face. The dark forms closing around you. At your feet, Shamino's body convulses in pain, but not a sound escapes his lips. Without warning, the amulet, tightly gripped in your hand, emits a bright blue glow. Upon seeing the amulet, the Shadow Lords shrink back. The wispy dark shadows start to swirl and fade back into the inky darkness from whence they came. Shamino lies upon the ground, body twisted in agony, the dark arrow protruding from his chest. A normal arrow could not cause such pain. It must be the evil enchantment with which it was created. Realizing it must be removed, you jerk the arrow from Shamino's body and hurl it with all your might. The air about the arrow crackles as it flies into the darkness. Shamino's body relaxes. Inspecting the bloody wound, you notice it's already begun to fester from the foulness from which the bolt was conjured. "We will find aid at Yolo's. Is but a short walk to the east," Shamino mutters. With a grim determination, you help Shamino to his feet and half carry him out of the clearing and eastward through the forest. Within a short time, the soothing sounds of a lute being masterfully played can be heard coming through the forest ahead. Rounding a bend in the path, you see a dim light emanating from a small hut nestled among the trees. Approaching the hut, you loosen an arm from around Shamino and knock on the heavy wooden door. The lute playing stops abruptly to be replaced by the muffled clinking of metal. "Who goes there?" demands a familiar voice from within. Leaning wearily against you, Shamino mutters, "Open the door, thou son of a goat, before I donate all my blood to decorate thy doorstep." The door jerks open to reveal a familiar form of Yolo standing framed within the doorway. Reaching out to help Shamino, Yolo turns to you with a grimace. "My friend, thou art a sight for sore eyes." I see that Shamino, as usual, has been unable to stay out of trouble. His casual remarks cannot mask his deep concern as he helps Shamino to a bed and carefully tends to his wound. After seeing to Shamino, Yolo fills 2 mugs with a foaming broth and beckons you to a coarse wooden table next to the warm hearth. "'Tis good to see thee after these many long years, my friend. It seems thy summoning does not go unnoticed. From the looks of Shamino's wound, I'd say thou dost now know of the Shadow Lords." You recount to Yolo the events of your arrival. Your patience giving out, a flood of questions erupts from you. "Slowly, my friend," Yolo smiles. "Make thyself at ease, and I will tell thee of the bitter events that have brought to these dark times. Not long after thy departure, Lord British and the most prominent wizards of Britannia gathered at his castle and called a meeting of the Great Council. Among the acts of the council was the sealing of the dungeons that lie beneath Britannia, in the hopes of entombing the foul denizens that dwell within. Some creatures still manage to escape, but their eyes are unaccustomed to light. They rarely roam the countryside by day, but wary must be the traveller by night. Another act of the Great Council, and by far the most difficult, was to raise the Codex from the depths of the abyss. The influx of the combined magical power of the Great Council disrupted the very bowels of Britannia. Where once was the abyss, now stands an immense mountain created from the molten lava that spewed forth. Unbeknownst to the Council, our new and glorious mountain left an enormous void over which all of Britannia now rests. Some speculate the dungeons may reach into this underground void at their deepest levels. It is believed that the underworld has become a fast breeding ground for creatures who have grown into horrors far worse than their original forms. A band of adventurers chance upon a tunnel beneath the river that flows through Spiritwood, where one of these caverns collapsed, opening a passage to the underworld. They returned, weary and bewildered, with tales of creatures that mount the dark air and others that shake the ground. Lord British was intrigued by these tales and gathered an entourage of stalwart fighters to accompany him into the underworld, but his party was overwhelmed by the tremendous number and power of these creatures, though they fought valiantly. Panic erupted throughout Britannia when the sole survivor of the expedition returned with a small parchment on which was recorded the dread tale of their journey. Iolo pauses momentarily as he reflects upon these dark thoughts. Blackthorn, a trusted but ambitious subject, took over the ruling of Britannia to calm the ensuing chaos. This we accepted until the Shadow Lords appeared. They corrupted Blackthorn in some manner unbeknownst to us, and Blackthorn's reign is now one of oppression and tyranny. Through him, the meaning of the virtues have been corrupted to serve the self-righteous. Shamino, myself, and others you have known has been declared outlaws by Blackthorn's regime, and we must skulk about as common criminals. We keep distance between ourselves so that we cannot be rounded up in one fell swoop, but this cannot go on forever. Blackthorn and those hellish Shadow Lords are bleeding Britannia. Rule must be restored to Lord British if he still lives. The gravity of the matter compelled us to risk a meeting. We arrived at the only possible answer: attempt to summon thee, my friend, to aid us in our quest to discover the fate of Lord British. The risk was great, for no use of strong magical power goes unnoticed by the Shadow Lords, but we felt there was no other choice. Shaking off the gloom of his tale, a jovial glint returns to Iolo's eye. He nods in Shamino's direction and says, "But since thou art here, my friend, and have naught else to do, I'm sure. What say thee, we nursemaid this poor excuse for an adventurer back to some semblance of health, and embark upon our quest. If life still breathes within Lord British, we shall restore him to the rightful ruler of Britannia." Yay! So, let's see if this works. So, let's try to see if the character transfer works. Drive A. Found! Slegnor, level 8 male. Slegnor is an avatar. Ooh, yes. Keep this name. Yeah. Same sex. Yes. Class. Avatar. Experience has been converted. I'm level 5. Nice. Strength was 50, now 25. Dexterity was 41 of 50, and now 22 of 30. Intellect was 48 of 50, now 24 of 30. Right, so I think we can journey onward now.